it seems that the three women are linked to most of the attackers in the past year and a half that carried out attacks in France and in Belgium. So the three of them were on a terror watch list. They had tried to go to Syria a couple of times. One of them, interestingly, was married to the killer in Magnanville that killed the police couple during the Euro. And then after he died, she, quote unquote, married with one of the perpetrators of the attack against the church near Rouen that killed the priest. And the other one, the younger Jihadi girl, the 19-year-old, is also linked to possibly the wife of the perpetrator of the January 2015 attack against the kosher supermarket store in Paris. So what comes to transpire is that this nexus is all linked to all the people and the different cells that have been carrying out attacks in France, with a remote control from Syria and Raqqa through the Islamic State. And now a father figure, if you will, has come as though a French jihadist, as one that is the pilot of the attacks, a man named Qasim. As we understand, about a month ago, specifically advised followers in France to use the modus operandi that those girls used to basically pack a car with gas canister and have it blown up.
These women, these three women, given their links to quite high-profile terrorist networks, they would have been on a French police watch list, wouldn't they? They would have been watched, if not followed. So how did they manage to load a car full of gas canisters and park it so close to a high-profile tourist destination, landmark like Notre Dame?
The issue at this point is that the number of people on this terror watch list has grown tremendously in the past year. So, as I understand it, from the French security services, the people of potential jihadists have grown up to 10,000. So there's no way they can follow 10,000 people. Now, the second thing is they prevented those girls from traveling to Syria. Then they basically weren't following them on a 24/7 routine because of the amount of resources that they need, and they need to make priorities. And one other point that is really important is also that it was pure luck that got the French security services onto them. If it weren't for the owner of a cafe near the spot where they parked the car that called the police, I don't know if they would have been on the track of those girls. So, and the fact that they were very amateurish, because the plot failed. It wasn't foiled. It failed. They tried to light up the car, but they couldn't. So allegedly they got scared and went back home. So it's really luck that saved the French from a major attack again on one of their main tourist landmarks, the Notre Dame Cathedral.
To what extent is this a change of tactic by so-called Islamic State?
It's not really a change of tactics in a way that we've known for a while that they would use, and they would switch to car bombs. I mean, that's been looked at for the past few months, that they would use this kind of modus operandi, if you will, that is different from what they used in November and also with the car attack in Nice.
The police are saying that they've dismantled this network now, or at least the network or the cell of young women radicalized. Is that the case? Is there confidence in France now? Has the security levels in Paris increased as a result of this or not?
They're at the highest level. I mean, they're so overstretched. I mean, the city and the country is really patrolled by army and police at the maximum level that they could do. So they're not going to change anything from what they've been doing. But I feel much less confident that they have everything under wraps. I mean, even President Hollande said that they stopped this cell, but there are many more trying to attack France. And we've learned that about 40 Islamic State operatives are still in Europe plotting attacks, and those were people that are linked to the November attacks.
Obviously, the focus, I imagine anyway, will be also on women now. That at least is a change of strategy from the French authorities.
They've been really on the lookout for women, and they've arrested a lot of them in the past year. Close to 60 women were arrested on terrorism charges in the past year alone, out of 260 people. So, and about 35 to 40% of the jihadists going into Syria from France are women. So they've known about the phenomenon of women, and they've looked at it. I think that, as you mentioned before, the failure really resides in the fact that if it weren't for luck, we would have had a major terror attack on our hands again in Paris.